One day I'm gonna be everything I wanna be. I don't let it get the most of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be everything I'm gonna be. My future right in front of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be free. From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges. A host with a fire burning in his soul. With a heart of steel and a spirit unbroken. He rides on two wheels ready to claim his throne. Amidst the chaos and the thunderous roar. Insane wheels rise as a force to be reckoned with. Fueled by the power that only metal can bestow. He takes his stand, refusing to submit. Insane wheels hear his battle cry. A metal mayhem that will never die. With engines roaring, he paves his way. A legend in the making, day by day.
Morning, all you legends. Great to see everyone in the chat, man. Let's get it. Of course, as you guys probably know, if you're in the Discord, we have a huge morning ahead of us. So Iran war escalates as well as Trump responds, and Lindsey Graham is unfortunately dead. All right, so I'm not sure why my camera's lagging right now. We're just going to have to push through it right now. But nonetheless, let's go ahead and quickly go over chronologically what we're going to be discussing this morning, because there was a lot that happened over the weekend. It's going to be kind of hard to condense everything into one episode for this weekend. It was a very hectic weekend. Anyways, first we're going to be looking at President Trump. He says 1,000 missiles are aimed at Iran right now. Oh boy. Yeah, that's that type of rhetoric. That was a couple days ago. And then we had the new U.S. launches new strikes against Iran. Now, this was the third set of, or the second round of strikes, and then there was a third round of strikes that we're about to get into here in a minute, because it's a couple day period here that we're trying to cover. Then we have Senator Lindsey Graham dead after quote unquote sudden illness, his office says. Now, from the research that we've been able to find, it has to do with like him having a heart attack and then unfortunately not making it through. But the official reports have come out and said some stuff about it, but I haven't paid that much attention to it. It looks like it was the heart attack situation. Then we have U.S. launches additional strikes on Iran as Strait of Hormuz standoff escalates. And yes, I think this one was the third round of strikes right here, which we have. And then we have update. Mitch McConnell breaks silence, says fall led to hospitalization. Well, the cope that we're watching from the whole team over there from Mitch McConnell is fascinating. They're actually using a picture from 2023 and trying to pass it off as something recent. Even he got caught in it yesterday, and I believe his team and his office had made a quote like, oh, well, it was a couple of months ago when he took his fall. No, this was a picture from 2023. So anyways, we have fossil fuels dominate global energy market as Hormuz uncertainty drives volatility. Yes, there's definitely a lot of volatility going on in the regards to oil markets, you name it. It's being affected. That's for damn sure. That's what war does. Then Middle East latest, U.S. military launches a new wave of strikes on Iran this weekend. Of course, I think that's them talking about the wave of strikes that I was just talking to you guys about right there. Then we have Jurassic Park actor Sam Neill dies at the age of 78, and that coming out just 2 hours ago. That's terrible news, by the way. Definitely bad news to hear. What we know about the deadly Houston ICE shooting. Yes, there was that Houston ICE shooting that I really haven't followed immensely, but we're going to start doing it. We do have some information about what happened there. And then we also have a very short amount of officials talk about deadly ICE involved shooting in Maine. So we've got a little bit of chaos going on here. So get ready, buckle up. We're getting ready to get down with that stuff. All right, quickly before we get into the madness, let's quickly do our call to actions, and then we'll get all into the madness. Make sure you guys hit that like button, double tap that screen if you guys are on the vertical side. I very much appreciate it, and it's free to do so. You know what else is free is hitting that subscribe button. It's what we do Monday through Friday, and then, of course, we have members only on Saturday morning, man. Speaking of members only, please consider becoming a member, starting only at $4.99 a month. We're making sure we're not breaking the bank out there with anybody. But check it out. This is what allows us to be on these airwaves as well as have these lights on. So thank you guys for becoming members and staying members. Little side note here, follow my Instagram at BallValveTV, where I post everything behind the scenes of not only my life, but as well as the show, Millennial Food Time breaking news, as well as politics, all that great shit. It's a great way to get a hold of me one-on-one. And we have a Discord server for all of you legends. Make sure you guys go down below where the video description is. And of course, that's where our invite link is for the Discord. Also, make sure you guys join up for that, just for the simple fact that I break news in Discord a lot more than I do on other platforms. Real quick, let me go ahead and show you an example of what I mean by this. Let me see if it'll actually capture this. Let's see if it will. It doesn't look like it will. So it looks like I'm going to have to share my entire screen. But whatever, we'll do that real quick. Okay, so here is the Discord. There we go. And this is if you go into a certain area, see, usually you're in general chat or whatever, but at the top here, we put a little segment up here, breaking news. And this is where I break all the news regards to whether it be Iran, Iranian state TV, whether it be our TV, whether it be our independent medias, all that kind of stuff. I break it all down right here. So make sure you guys join up on that. It's good times, good times. All right, back to the madness. And last but not least, all super chats, super stickers, gifted memberships, and membership signups are, of course, all going to be presented live and shouted out onto the show. But if you guys like to skip that YouTube 30% brutal cut that they take from your hard-earned cash, we have these platforms that are scrolling around the screen at any time. You can donate to those, and I get 100% of the proceeds. And, of course, we'll read out loud anything that comes our way, just like a normal super chat. So we've got our email up. We're always going to be scanning. All right, good morning to all of you ladies and gentlemen. We always appreciate all of your guys' contributions, hanging out with us, chilling, vibing, maxing all cool shit and some people outside of school. All right, we got Naomi in the building. Shout out to you, by the way. We got Mr. Virginia Chaos, my man, as well as Vanguard Critters. Good morning to you, gentlemen. We got Steve Easy. Yes, sir. Shout out to you as well as Brother Glare. Let's see here. We got AU in the building as well. And yes, Trump is not playing around. We got Charlie Rose in the building as well. And yes, I saw that comment, by the way, Steve. That's too good. We got TVT in the building up there in Canada. Good morning to you, kind sir. Let's see here. We're running our way down. We got Easy Frank. Shout out to my man, as well as Stephanie. Good morning to you. Good morning. We're running our way down fast as possible, I promise. Let's see, Brenda, good morning to you as well. We got Chatting with Stacks. Shout out to my man. We got Naomi coming in with the 17 months, by the way. Sub to Mike's Only Nubs page by hitting the like. That's a fact, by the way, Jack. Make sure you guys hit that like button. Thank you, Naomi, for the 17 freaking months. That's a legend number, by the way. Very close to the best number on the planet. Then we have a Gorillapist. Good morning to you as well. All right. So it looks like we're going to get into the madness. Mike, did you see Iran send a huge missile and drone attack at our bases over the weekend? Shit is getting wild. Yes, sir. I did see that. Bahrain, Kuwait, were subjects to it. I think UAE was subject to it. Yes. So anyways, let's go ahead and get into the madness. Oh, real quick, I almost forgot. Sick Bastard coming in, by the way, and he rated us this morning from his morning show. Good morning to you and everybody that is coming over from Sick Bastard. Thank you for the raid there, kind sir. All right, let's go ahead and bring this up. We're going to first get into that whole 1,000 missiles that Trump is threatening. So let's go ahead and get into that first.
We have this Truth Social post from President Trump saying 1,000 missiles are locked and loaded and aimed at the Islamic Republic of Iran, with thousands of more to immediately follow should the Iranian government act on its threat pronounced in many corners of the globe.
And yes, there are some of the Arab states that are fighting back right now. And if you guys are looking and paying attention, that's only happened within the last, hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, something like that. Look up what's going on with Saudi Arabia and the Houthi rebels right now. Fucking crazy. Not joking. Not joking. It's crazy time.
To assassinate or attempt to assassinate the sitting president of the United States of America, in this case, me. Orders have already been given, and the U.S. military is ready, willing, and able for a 1-year period of time, subject to extension, to completely decimate and destroy all areas of Iran. Praise be to Allah, President Donald J. Trump. We're going to go ahead and bring in...
Yeah, that pipeline is running through Saudi Arabia, TVT, and it actually goes through, and then it goes to the Gulf states, some of the Gulf states, and then it runs through Israel, and then it goes kind of through Gaza to the other side. That's where that pipeline's going to be basically made. That's where they've already worked on some of it. There's already an existing pipeline in Saudi Arabia, but they're building off of it. K2, keep on trucking. My man saying for $5, happy White History Month. July just feels white. Yeah, with the American flag. Shout out to my man, W comment. We always appreciate you, K2. Hopefully you're enjoying your morning so far. And the start of your week, we definitely are.
Lucas Tomlinson here to discuss the latest developments with Iran and President Trump. Lucas, it is great to see you. Welcome in Alive Now from Fox.
Well, good afternoon, Ryan. It's great to be with you. This all started when President Trump left the 2-day NATO summit in Ankara, Turkey, using his backup Air Force One, not the brand new red, white, and blue jet.
Now, the reason for that, originally Trump was saying, hey, we're not going to use the brand new Qatar Air Force One because, well, I'll tell you the real reason compared to what his reason was. His reason was, hey, we're going to let the bases around the area go ahead and check it out. Let the military personnel check it out. That was his cope. But what actually happened is they learned and found out that it's not completely like on the security level of like bulletproof windows, like all this different stuff. That airplane was not made for. So when they, regards to Trump leaving Turkey, with the NATO summit, he left on the normal Air Force, the old Air Force One. So, and he did that because his team, I'm sure some sort of security was like, no, you're not going to be taking this when we have death threats on you right now. So that's what ended up happening.
Gifted by the Qatari royal family. President Trump didn't get on his new plane until he had arrived safely in the UK over the weekend. Then reports about threats on President Trump's life coming from Iran. Of
course,
up, PJ?
Turkey
is a country that borders Iran, shares a more than 330-mile border. And now we hear from the new supreme leader, Mustafa Khamenei, in his first public remarks, written, I should add, after his late father, the former Ayatollah, was buried in that 6-day state funeral. He was finally put in.
What's up, brother? So loud. Shout out to the boondocks of North Carolina, by the way.
Ground yesterday in Mashhad, Iran, northeastern part of the country. Earlier in the week, we saw a trading of strikes. Iranian forces hit 3 tankers in the Strait of Hormuz.
It is an amazing plane, granted, but on the security level, I'm sure his team was like, nah, we ain't down with that yet.
Prompted President Trump to act while he was at the NATO summit, ordering 2
nights
of air strikes, retaliatory strikes into Iran. I'm told a third night could have happened. It did not happen, but the jets were ready to go, I'm told. And right now, there's this barb over the airwaves, at least on statements about President Trump. He wants to see Iran declare the Strait of Hormuz open. We've heard from the Iranians saying, actually, if you look at...
Which they're not going to do that. The only thing that we have seen over the weekend is over the chaos of strikes going back and forth. In the middle of this, CENTCOM made a statement like, hey, we've got the Strait of Hormuz open and blah, blah, blah. I'm sitting there going, this shit is not open. Like, come on, man. When you got to make a 48-hour ahead of schedule call to like organize yourself to like move out of the strait, that's not a strait being open.
Paragraph 9 of the Memorandum of Understanding, we were going to keep the strait open, but impose whatever we...
Seymour Cannabis, good morning to you. Great to see you in the chat, my man.
Now, also in the memo, they weren't supposed to impose tolls for 60 days, so now it's this back and forth. But for the past 2 nights, Ryan, it's been pretty quiet. The third strike...
Now, that was the 2 nights prior to that. So that in context, this was, what, Saturday morning, Friday, something like that. Anyways, let's see. Barack Ravid over there at Axios says a U.S. official said the Iranians reached out to the administration after 2 days of skirmishes earlier this week and sought further talks to resolve the dispute. Quote, they told us they were screwing up. We made a mistake. Let's keep talking, the official claimed. I think that's bullshit.
Stop the cap.
Yeah, because it didn't just stop there. If the fighting would have kind of like stopped there, then maybe. But I think that is bullshit. Anyways, let's go ahead and move on into the next story here. This was, it looks like either Friday evening or Saturday morning. Can't tell. Breaking, U.S. launches new strikes against Iran. That was right after they played that segment right there. Let's go ahead and bring this up. We're doing everything in chronological time. So
we're continuing to track breaking news out of the Middle East. We are learning that kinetic activity is returning to the Strait.
What's up, brother Dean Savage? My man, good morning. Happy Monday to you.
Once more, this is not
Great
the
to
first
see
time
you,
this has
bro.
happened. This is really beginning just in the last hour or so. Barak Ravid confirming that the U.S. military is conducting strikes against Iranian targets in the Strait of Hormuz area in response to the IRGC's attack on a commercial ship. It was reported just before these U.S. strikes that Iran said that it considers the Strait of Hormuz closed once again after a vessel using an, quote, unauthorized route was struck by a warning shot in the critical waterway, which is, of course, jeopardizing an already tenuous ceasefire.
What's up, brother Slim? Good morning to you as well.
Between them and the United States, Iran and the U.S. Coming to terms on that MOU. So many of us have become familiar with this term, a memorandum of understanding, basically saying that the two sides.
Wow, it's Stormin' Norman. It's been forever since I've seen my man over here. Great to see you in the chat. Hopefully you're enjoying your Monday morning. Thank you all for hanging out with us. Make sure you guys hit that like button, double tap that screen if you're on the vertical side. Always appreciate it. All right, let's get back into the madness.
Agree not to fire at each other. And in return, they'll continue the negotiations behind the scenes and work on a long-term path toward a solution. For now, though, as I mentioned, the kinetic activity continues. This live depiction of the traffic in the Strait of Hormuz is brought to us courtesy of Marine Traffic. U.S. Central Command saying that it's...
Yeah, during the day, there's, as you know, Dean, a lot of the strikes that happen usually happen at nighttime, and then they let up during the day, and then they go right back into nighttime operations kind of thing. Rabbit of Chaos, good morning to you. Great to see you in the chat.
Forces have begun a third round of strikes, and you'll just have to bear with me because new information is coming in by the minute, trying to get this all on air as timely as possible. The U.S. military has released a statement.
Oh, that's typical Stormin' Norman.
The AP has it. They say, quote, the United States is imposing a heavy cost by continuing to degrade Iran's ability to attack civilian mariners and commercial ships freely transiting the strait. A Cyprus-flagged container ship struck by Iran suffered significant engineer room damage, and a civilian crew member is missing, U.S. CENTCOM said. Okay, so that's a new piece of information I'm reading here. So U.S. CENTCOM, which again, that's the U.S. military's command that covers the jurisdiction that so many of these Middle Eastern states.
Right, it's the region, it's their jurisdiction over there.
Are in. CENTCOM says that a Cyprus-flagged container ship struck by Iran suffered significant engineer room damage, and a civilian crew member is missing. So we've been asking ourselves this question so often, which is why does Iran fire these preliminary shots that oftentimes do result in kinetic fire being exchanged by both sides? There's been a lot of reporting on the topic, and one of the common denominators that the reporting suggests.
What's up, brother Hardwire? Shout out to you, by the way. Good morning, and great show yesterday.
Is that there might be a lack of unity within the Iranian upper ranks. We'll wait for more reporting to come out on this specific incident. For now, this is what we have in front of us. Axios' Barak Ravid saying that the U.S. military is conducting strikes against Iranian targets in Hormuz in response to the IRGC's attack on a commercial ship. Senior U.S. officials, according to the AP, had previously said in Washington that negotiations to further cement last month's deal to end the war will be unable to progress without the strait being secure. Had even said that they expected Iran to offer public statements to that effect. We were having conversations about this just yesterday.
Also, this reminds me, while all of these things were going on over the weekend, I'm sure that some of you guys saw it, some of you guys didn't. Let me go ahead and go into my channel real quick on YouTube, and I'm going to bring this up to ask you guys a question, genuinely. Okay, so over the weekend, obviously, I was breaking a lot of fucking news. I even gave updates on Venezuela, a whole bunch of stuff. Anyways, I did this just as a tester, just to see how it would go. I did this on my social medias as well. I was putting it in Discord. I was putting it on Facebook. I was putting it on YouTube, the community page here. Anyways, this was all of the weekend. I mean, I was literally breaking everything. Anytime explosions were heard or reported, it just didn't matter. It was we were getting down with our bad selves. So the question I bear on this is, I know this does take up a lot of space, and a lot of people don't necessarily like to go through their subscription list and see a whole bunch of these, right? So what I'm going to do is what I'm asking you guys to do is to let me know if you guys like that, or would you guys rather that be in a disclosed area like I was showing you guys in Discord, where we have the hashtag breaking news, the little area for breaking news, and that's where I'll be breaking news nonstop. Because I this is what I do anyways, and so for me it's very easy to be able to report it. So it's in the Discord. Make sure you guys go in the video description down below, and that's where all the moment by moment, literally minute by minute breaking news is.
The White House wants Iran to release a public statement saying that Hormuz is open to traffic and that there will be no more strikes on ships. And it appears that another situation has come up where there was at least one vessel that was...
What's up, Charlie? Good morning to you. Great to see you.
...fired at, and now the U.S. responding with more kinetic action on their end. A live look, of course...
Oh, it's most definitely heating up. That's for damn sure. Especially over this last weekend here. Yeah. Definitely getting a little brutal. I mean, look at what Saudi Arabia is doing to the Houthi rebels right now in the region. I mean, it's just, it's getting wild.
This comes in the context of the wider U.S.-Iran war, which Israel has also been involved in offensively. It is 3:22 in the morning, Israel Standard Time. It's approaching 8:30 at night in the nation's capital. A live look at the Capitol building as we are learning that the U.S. has launched new strikes.
What's up, Gabriel?
I will be looking out for any official posts from President Trump on Truth Social.
Papa D, my man. Always appreciate having you in the chat. Good morning.
We're also combing through social media in real time. We're learning more about this as the minutes go by. U.S. CENTCOM, the U.S. military, we're checking all those channels to see if any new information comes through. We are hearing that there is, and we're just hearing from our producing team here that there is a new post from U.S. Central Command. So I'm going to bring this up here. We're going to work on getting this plugged into our system. I'm going to read verbatim some of what U.S. Central Command is saying. And again, I'm going to just take a live look at the Strait of Hormuz's marine traffic. And this is brought to us courtesy.
Well, see, that's the whole thing, is whether it be a pointless war or not, it's irrelevant. We're in it. We're in it, whether it's pointless or not. And objectively, do we want the United States to win, or do we hope for their demise as Americans, right? So, of course, I want the best for our troops. I want the best for our country. Unfortunately, I've been against this whole war since the very beginning. Everybody knows that follows me. I was hoping that they wouldn't do it, and they did. And we called it out immediately. We've been breaking this story. We've been breaking many, many stories for years. I mean, this is what we do over here. And unfortunately, we're in the thick of it now. Now, do we want the betterment for us? Of course.
Of marine traffic. So U.S. CENTCOM posting on social media. This was
Good morning,
posted
Jamie.
within the past hour. They say at 7:15 p.m. Eastern time today, Central Command forces began launching the third round of strikes this week against Iran after Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps forces blatantly attacked a Cyprus-flagged container ship transiting the Strait of Hormuz. A civilian crew member is missing, and the vessel is unable to continue the journey due to an onboard fire and significant engine room damage. The U.S. military continues by saying Iran was provided yet another opportunity to demonstrate adherence to the Memorandum of Understanding.
What's up, Mushrambi? I think that's how you say your name. Great to see you in the chat.
After being held accountable for earlier attacks on commercial vessels, but has again failed. In response, the United States is imposing a heavy cost by continuing to degrade Iran's ability to attack civilian mariners and commercial ships freely transiting the strait. The strikes are being carried out at the direction of the commander-in-chief. So marine traffic bringing us that live depiction of the strait. And I just read you what the U.S. military has posted about this most recent volley of kinetic action. So what we're going to do is we're going to keep tabs on any and all posts coming.
Oh, shit. Real quick, we got Papa D saying, bruh, 6 months already? Let's fucking go.
Bruh.
My man. Thank you for making it rain 6 months in a row, being a part of the membership, man. We always have a good time. I definitely know that you enjoy it as well. And thank you for your support, sincerely.
True from whether it be the U.S. military, whether it be from President Trump. I don't believe we've seen anything from President Trump yet, but the U.S. military says that all of this is coming, unsurprisingly, at the direction of the commander-in-chief. Am I hearing that right, Julie Hegseth? Okay, so Secretary Hegg.
Well, I'm not really sure what regard you're talking about, Mr. Bat, but I am against the war. But I, of course, want the best for Americans, no matter what, right?
So also sending out a short statement I'm hearing. Let's get this up here.
Israel is very irrelevant to my mindset and my worldview.
Here in front of me. Iran made a poor choice. Now they pay. So a simple two-word statement by the Secretary Hegseth, saying Iran made a poor choice. Now they pay. So one of my big questions as we wait to learn more about this is how significant are these strikes? What's the extent of the offensive that the U.S. is carrying out right now? The U.S. has not been shy about saying that they will carry out a more extensive offensive if they have to. And so that's all the Secretary said for now. Iran made a...
Real quick, we got Papa D coming in with the 420, by the way, saying cheap hellos from now on are lit, cuh. Yeah, absolutely. I'll take cheap hellos all day. You know what I mean?
Poor choice. Now they pay. Will this round of strikes look different than previous round of strikes? These are the answers I'm going to be looking for as things move forward. We're going to be checking in with Hal Kempfer within the next half hour or so. We're also going to see if we can check in with the AP's Will Weissert within that time.
And what's funny is, we talk about Hal Kempfer a lot on this channel. Well, not talk about him, but we present his breakdowns a lot. And I actually was speaking with him over the weekend on Facebook. We were going back and forth in direct messages. And I was hoping that he'd be able to come on to the show. I actually literally asked him if he could come on to the show for Monday. And unfortunately, he was too busy. Not too busy, but you know what I mean? He's booked up. So it is what it is. But I tried anyways. All right, let's get into Lindsey Graham a little bit before we get back into Iran, and we're going to get into fossil fuels. We're going to get into all of it, the markets. But first, let's go ahead and get into when this was breaking yesterday. Senator Lindsey Graham dead after sudden illness, his office says. Now, this is into the regards of basically a heart attack. So let's go ahead and bring this up. Here we go. Very quick update.
Follow breaking news here at Live Now from Fox. Republican Senator Lindsey Graham has died. That's according to a statement that was released on his social media platform on X. So take a look at this. So the statement says that the office of U.S. Senator Lindsey Graham of South Carolina releasing the following statement, quote, on the evening of Saturday, July 11th, U.S. Senator Lindsey Graham passed away from a brief and sudden illness. Senator Graham's family appreciates prayers at this time and asks for privacy during this incredibly difficult period. I want to bring up here some footage of the late senator. Now, this is a developing story at this time, so we're working to get some more information. It's just come down a few minutes ago. I want to read off some of this reporting courtesy of the Washington Post, who is also following this closely, saying that Graham, who was first elected to the House in 1994 and the Senate in 2002, was running for re-election this year. He had been a staunch ally of President Trump on most matters, but had broken with the president on some issues such as foreign policy. They are also quoting President Trump in...
Yeah, that was a while ago, though. I mean, now he just became Trump's right-hand man and backed him on everything, no matter what he did.
Something that he had to say for a tele-rally for Graham last month, where he acknowledged that the two men had dueled for the 2016 Republican presidential nomination.
So is Mitch McConnell.
But we are trying to track more information. Again, a brief and sudden illness is all we know so far based off that social media post on his platform on X. I want to bring this up here. Again, it just kind of encompasses everything that we know in this developing story, that on the evening of Saturday, July 11th, U.S. Senator Lindsey Graham has passed away from a brief and sudden illness. Senator Graham's family appreciates prayers at this time and asks for privacy during this incredibly difficult period. Now, Senator Graham has been really at the forefront on a lot of these major foreign policy issues. We have seen him travel.
Yeah. What's interesting as a senator who's supposed to be representing, South Carolina in D.C., it's odd that he was like this. He was kind of like this secret use player. He was like a Secretary of State, but like, not actually. He was obviously a senator for South Carolina representing in D.C. But he was always, if you guys notice, he was always dealing with like anything about Iran. He always was talking about that kind of shit. Wasn't talking about his state. Same thing with Ukraine, all of that shit. So anyways, yeah, he was like that kind of secret use guy to like have him as like this undercover Secretary of State's weird.
Over to Israel, where he has met with several leaders there amidst the wars that continue over in the Middle East. And most recently, he was also meeting with leaders in Ukraine. The Associated Press filing this report just yesterday saying that Senator Lindsey Graham had said on Friday that China could play a decisive role in pressuring Russia towards peace talks and helping end its war in Ukraine, adding that the next several months would present a window for a diplomatic solution. Graham, a frequent visitor to war-torn Ukraine, met with President Volodymyr Zelensky in Kyiv, where they discussed Ukraine's urgent air defense needs and the Russian sanctions.
I absolutely agree, and they're going into the secondary, like whatever autopsy they did their medical examination or whatever, the first one, and then they're doing a second, I think. So
that's according to President Zelensky. Now, Graham had said that bolstering Ukraine's military capabilities and aligning sanctions with a diplomatic push could force Moscow into talks. Now, reading off of this reporting just to showcase really how recently Senator Graham has been working there when it comes to these foreign policy matters. It was just a day ago that this report was filed. And again, as I had
what's up, Tootie Bug? Good morning. Great to see you in the
mentioned,
chat.
he has been heavily involved and at the forefront when it comes to matters there in the Middle East, frequently meeting with leaders over in Israel amid the wars that continue. But we know as of now, according to a statement, that he did pass away.
Like how many times has Lindsey Graham gone to Tel Aviv? You know what I mean? Like, aren't you supposed to be representing South Carolina?
On the evening of Saturday, July 11th. Again, that's according to a statement from his office that was posted a few minutes ago on X. That statement said that he passed away from a brief and sudden illness and that his family appreciates prayers at this time and asks for privacy during this incredibly difficult period. As I have mentioned, this is a developing story, a breaking news story from overnight. So any and all information that we get regarding the situation, we will keep you up to date here at Live Now from Fox.
Of course, and that's what we do here on Insane Wheels as well. And everything that we present, we do our best to follow. Okay, let's go ahead and move on. Let's get into this next round of strikes that happened over the weekend. U.S. launches additional strikes on Iran as Strait of Hormuz standoff escalates. Obviously, as you guys can see from the thumbnail that we made this morning, regards to the news strikes. Now, there was quite a few news strikes over the weekend. I mean, there was exchange of multiple, basically every night kind of thing. So Saturday night, I think Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night. And then obviously, I'm sure that there's going to be another wave this evening. I mean, if we're just using our pattern recognition here, yeah, most definitely we'll probably end up seeing strikes this evening as well, here in the United States at least. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on into this next ordeal here. Let me go ahead and pop this up. Hold on. Actually, you know what we haven't done yet? We haven't done the money part.
All right, just get the money part done.
Give me money. Money me. Money now. Me a money needing a lot now.
Now that is actual factuals.
Denied.
And it's the best propaganda you get all day. All right, let's go ahead and get into this next plan here. This next story, I mean, here we go.
Welcome back and Live Now from Fox. I'm your host, Hannah Marsick. We do have some breaking news to get to as the United States has launched a new round of strikes against Iran. We have this post coming from U.S.
Now, these guys were a little late to the game because right when Central Command came out, I was right on top of it. I posted it in Discord. I posted on Facebook and on YouTube as well on the community tab or whatever. And so make sure you guys follow along because we are breaking minute by minute.
Central Command at 5 p.m. Eastern time today, U.S. Central Command forces began launching more strikes against Iran to continue degrading their ability to attack civilian mariners and commercial ships freely transiting the Strait of Hormuz. The commander-in-chief has directed the strikes to hold Iranian forces accountable. This breaking news just coming in moments ago, and the Associated Press is reporting that the United States attacked Iran.
Mr. Steiny, good morning.
Today over an Iranian strike on a container ship in the Strait of Hormuz that set it ablaze and left a crew member missing. Iran responded with the track
on regards to Lindsey Graham, that they made the claim that they took him out. Yeah, they're fucking liars. But that's atypical, you know what I mean? Yeah, of course they're going to try to make it look like they were the ones that executed him and assassinated him somehow, some way, but that didn't happen.
On Bahrain, Kuwait, Qatar, Jordan, and Oman, the nation on the other side of the strait that Tehran had pressed to collaborate in managing ship traffic. That was the latest update there coming from the Associated Press, and the New York Times is reporting that the United States conducted this fresh round of strikes.
Yes, make sure you guys double tap that screen if you're on the vertical side. Hit that like button if you're on the horizontal. Appreciate you guys.
On Iranian targets on Sunday, according to a U.S. official, extending a pattern of attacks between the two sides as their fragile ceasefire continued to unravel. Iranian state media reporting explosions on an island in the Strait of Hormuz, which is, of course, an economically vital waterway at the center of this tug of war between the two countries that we've been seeing. The United States official, who is not authorized to speak publicly, saying the strikes were intended to degrade Iran's ability to target commercial shipping in the strait, where an Iranian attack on a container ship on Saturday set off the latest exchange of fire. Then Sunday's strikes appearing to be less intense than the U.S. barrage on Saturday, which Iran responded to by firing on U.S. allied Persian Gulf Arab states. This back and forth of attacks have been played out over nearly a week now, driven by that dispute there over the Strait of Hormuz, where the United States has repeatedly accused Iran of attacking commercial vessels. Iran had not claimed responsibility.
Joker, shout out to my man. Good morning.
For any attacks until Saturday,
Happy Monday.
according to the New York Times, when it said it had fired on a container ship that tried to use an unapproved route there through the strait. Iran also declaring that the waterway through which roughly 20% of the world's oil supply passed before the war was closed. President Trump insisting today that the strait was open to shipping traffic, adding that the U.S. had bombed the hell out of Iran last night, according to the president, who also suggested that the two sides had been close to a deal over the weekend before that attack on the ship, but then offered no details. The New York Times goes on to report that Iran has not said that it had agreed to any new deal, and that President Trump had often made unsubstantiated claims about the war. The White House not immediately responding to a request for comments on President Trump's remarks. President Trump's administration also saying that the truce that was struck last month would fully lift Tehran's blockade of the strait, but Iran had insisted that all ships transiting the waterway traveled through that water as it seeks to use the leverage in the peace talks. Washington has demanded that Tehran abandon.
And of course, Tehran, meaning Iran, is still forcing their shipping route. Okay, so, and that shipping route goes all the way in the north part of the strait, and then it actually goes in between the small island and the bigger Qessim Island at the top of the strait. So it's a very complex situation in regards to the strait. Of course, everybody knows that. All right, let's go ahead and get into a little bit of an update on Mitch McConnell. Something comes out saying Mitch McConnell breaks silence, says fall led to hospitalization. Well, let's see what this report, how they put it together. Let's see what happens here.
We do want to bring you some breaking news right now regarding the health of Senator Mitch McConnell. This coming in just moments ago from the Associated Press saying breaking, Senator Mitch McConnell says he was hospitalized because of a fall and developed mild pneumonia in first statement on his condition. This breaking news coming in just moments ago as Senator Mitch McConnell on Sunday revealing for the first time that a fall is what led to his hospitalization, breaking the silence about his condition after weeks of mounting speculation about the Kentucky Republican's health. The statement comes following his hospitalization on June 14th.
Oh, yeah, that's bullshit. You guys, come on, man. We got well over 150 people in here between both the live streams. Let's get the likes up. That's ridiculous. I've been kindly asking, do I have to seriously stop the show and all that shit? Come on, man. Let's bring the likes up. It takes a lot of time and dedication to follow all this shit. So appreciate you guys.
McConnell's office for weeks had provided very little information, insisting only that he was receiving excellent care and recovering. As his hospital stay grew longer and longer, speculation started to mount about his condition, and it grew so intense that Kentucky's Democratic Governor Andy Beshear actually took the...
Well, yeah, listen, when you're a senator, I mean, you're representing, your country, your state, and you're in the hospital for over 3 weeks, there's going to be some questions, yo. That's tragic.
Step of asking that McConnell update the public about his health publicly in a very transparent manner. So we do have the statement from Senator Mitch McConnell.
What's up, Crack Baby? Are you the same guy? I think I've seen you around the panelverse and all that shit. Interesting. Great to see you in the chat, bro. Good morning to you.
McConnell, it's a lengthy one, but we do want to read it for you here on Live Now from Fox. The senator says, when you elected me to a 7th term and made me our Commonwealth's longest serving senator, you did so, trusting that I would keep showing up to fight for you every day. And over the past several weeks,
real quick, before they get further into this, Brother So Loud, money talks. You know how it goes around here. We've got So Loud coming in with the 10 spot saying, hit the like on both sides. Why not? Absolutely. Hit that like button. Double tap that screen if you guys are on the vertical side. And Brother So Loud, I can't thank you enough for that 10 spot. Goes a long way, making it rain in the chat, man.
And I have appreciated both your well wishes and your honest questions about what was keeping me away from the Senate. You all know how folks of my generation often hesitate to share the vulnerability that comes with growing older. Even in the public eye, I feel that same instinct. I can't help it. But at the same time, I've had more than my share of experience with physical vulnerabilities. Surviving childhood polio meant spending my entire life with mobility challenges. They haven't exactly gotten easier to manage with my age. And last month, I took a fall, which landed me in the hospital. The senator goes on to say, my doctors have confirmed that I did not break any
What's up, Ghost Eagle?
bones or suffer a concussion. I didn't have a heart attack or a stroke. I don't have any tumors or hemorrhages, but I was...
Where I originally found you, Crack Baby, was when that, I forget what that chick's name, where she like shows tits on the fucking live stream sometimes. She's out of control. She has like a super crush on you. That's where I found you from, dude. It was hilarious. That one live stream. I'm sure that shit made you super uncomfortable.
Briefly unconscious and was taken to the hospital. While while receiving excellent care over the past several weeks, I've also had to deal with a mild case of pneumonia. I can assure you that I have been a good patient. At my age, I tend to do what my doctors tell me to do. I have submitted to every test they can think of to help figure out what caused this incident, and I'm continuing to do everything they asked to speed my recovery. In fact, with signs of continued progress, I have been able to move from hospital care to a rehabilitation center where I will keep regaining my strength. As much as it frustrates me, this process takes time. And on the advice of my doctors, I will not be able to return to the Senate floor to vote quite yet, but rest assured that in the meantime, I am not taking a break from the Senate.
No, it's not about that part. Okay, the person in question, is retarded, like actually, whatever, maybe autistic, I don't know, but she is definitely not like an attractive lady, you know what I mean? So I'm just saying, it's one thing if it's an attractive lady, and she's,
business
Just
that matters to you. I have been working closely with my legislative staff on current issues and with my Kentucky team who help me provide timely constituent services across our Commonwealth. I've also been keeping in touch with my Senate colleagues on the appropriations process, midterm politics, and everything in between. The senator goes on to say, you are right to expect your representatives to work hard for you. And part of my decision to retire
yeah, that's her name, Noelle,
at the end of my term this coming January was being honest about the demands of Senate work, but I still have unfinished business to complete on your behalf, and I have every intention of finishing the job that you elected me to do. I will keep working hard to get back on the Senate floor as soon as possible, and I will keep you posted on the progress of my recovery. Until then.
Now, see, and then he says, I'm so grateful for your prayers and well wishes at the end of that. Now, a lot of this I really do think is bullshit. They even try to pass off a picture of Mitch McConnell from like 2023 in the hospital with his wife. And that picture, they try to say, oh yeah, look, he's great. And then his team, his office had to come out and say, no, that was from a couple months ago, blah, blah, blah. But it wasn't even a couple months ago. It was a few years ago. Anyways, they're just trying to get to the point where they don't have, the party, and they don't have to do a special election. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to extend this shit so that he just, what is it? Like August something in order for it to be considered. I forget what it is. I think it's August 15th or 16th, something like that. That's what they're trying to do right now. But his office did say as well that, and he did as well in that little thing that I'm sure his office wrote for him, that he wouldn't be able to make it back to the Senate floor for the vote, which is all bullshit. I think that regards to anybody that's in public service, public office, holding public office, there needs to be transparency. And this is one that is bullshit. I'm going to call it out. All right, let's go and move on into this next ordeal though. Fossil fuels dominate global energy market as Hormuz uncertainty. Oh my God, drives volatility. Let's go and bring this up. Sorry, I had a full retard moment. Also, actually, that gives me perfect timing to just embrace, because I know that you guys are waiting for this clip anyway.
Don't beat yourself up over past mistakes. Don't beat yourself up over past mistakes. You are going to fuck up again in the future, quite possibly in a most spectacular fashion. Why worry about yesterday's fuck-ups when you have tomorrow's fuck-ups to look forward to? You are a fuck-up, and fucking up is part of your growth process. Embrace the process.
You know what I actually do enjoy is when I go to play that fuck up video, and then the StreamYard sometimes will glitch when you play a video, and it'll play only on the vertical side and not the horizontal. And so you have to like switch off to another video and then hop back to it in order for it to pop back up. Anyways, I don't know. We just embrace our fuck ups around here. That's what we do. So anyways, we're embraced. Let's go and get into the fossil fuels here quickly. We're not going to stay too long on this, but we will get,
live now.
because I mean, honestly, this is my prediction as an analyst, that we're going to see, by the end of this whole thing, before we actually get to some sort of MOU / actual deal, we're going to see gas prices go up. Get ready for that. Same thing with grocery prices. Same thing with all of that. It's all going to go up. And I totally expect oil and gas to be the same price that it was during the worst of it, during this last ordeal with Iran, during the actual war. I speculate that it's going to double what it is right this second. So let's say it's $3.50. It could go up to $7. Whatever. That's kind of what I'm getting at. Anyways,
Austin Westfall, we have a lot to discuss today. I'm going to start with headlines relating to energy. A new report says fossil fuels still supply the vast majority of global energy despite record growth in renewable power. The Energy Institute found that oil, natural gas, and coal accounted for 86% of global energy use last year, underscoring that despite years of investment in wind and solar power, the world continues to rely overwhelmingly on fossil fuels to power homes, businesses, transportation, and so many other industries as well. Meanwhile, we've been seeing examples of the oil economy's surprising flexibility amid the war in Iran. As Axios writes about, we've been watching countries act to cut their reliance on the Strait of Hormuz while still meeting global fossil fuel demands. Let's bring in Axios' Ben Gaiman. He reports on energy for Axios. As always, it's good to see you.
And I really don't, I mean, Axios, I really can't take them like super, like I have to take their reports and then fact check them kind of thing, because they are really, Axios really is just a mouthpiece for Trump.
Ben, let's start with the news of the day, though.
What's up, Raspberry? Thank you for
Senator
that.
Graham overnight. And we've been talking about the senator's passing. Of course, he had such a large presence on Capitol Hill in so many ways. Ben, from an energy industry perspective, what are they looking at in light of the shocking news overnight?
Yeah, well, first of all, good evening, and thank you so much for having me on. So just before the senator's very sad passing, on Friday, he had actually said that he had reached an agreement with the Trump administration to move forward on a piece of legislation that he co-authored, a very bipartisan piece of legislation that he co-authored that would impose very, very tough trade penalties on countries that buy Russian oil and Russian natural gas and Russian nuclear fuel, uranium. And, this was part of Senator Graham's a long-standing goal, years-long goal for a much more aggressive U.S. posture on stopping the invasion of Ukraine and finding a sort of more pro-Ukrainian solution to this conflict. Now, the White House has not said very much yet, or really anything as far as I can gather, about whether or not they are indeed preparing to support this piece of legislation. But you did just today have two of his
What's up, No Grow, up there in Canada? Good morning to you.
Democratic co-sponsors, Richard Blumenthal of Connecticut, who was his co-author of the bill, and Senator Jeanne Shaheen of New Hampshire, who is the top Democrat on the Senate Foreign Relations Committee. They both said that it would be
Yes, that's something that I think that the left and the right would probably agree on is hating flock cameras. And I hope the Democrats would be against it.
A fitting tribute to Senator Graham to have this legislation sort of move across the finish line. I think most observers expect that if there is to be some type of agreement, it would still give President Trump a huge amount of discretion. It wouldn't lock him into anything in terms
Be safe, TVT.
of setting new trade penalties and getting tougher on Russia. But at the very least, it would be something of a symbolic marker and perhaps a little bit more showing that the U.S. would take a more aggressive stance on the side of the Ukrainians.
We wanted to make sure we talked about that because that's pretty much how these things work. I mean, senators get a lot of attention for the highest profile pieces of legislation that they're working on at any given time, but there's always so many different things going on behind the scenes. That'll be something worth tracking for sure.
Oh, hell yeah. Northern Maine, shit. Man, I bet you it gets cold as a motherfucker up there. Great to see you in the chat. Hopefully you're enjoying your morning so far. I definitely know that we are. All right, let's go ahead and move on out of this because they're just going to go into what U.S. Central Command is talking about here. We already announced this. He's going to ask the question, how's oil going to respond to this? Obviously, he's going to say it's going to go up. Of course. All right, let's go ahead and move on into the next ordeal here. Listen, I'm not trying to waste your time, let alone my own time, right? So, all right, let's get into the next whole thing regarding the Middle East, okay? This theoretically one of their latest updates from last night. U.S. military launches new wave of strikes on Iran this weekend. As you guys already know, I reported that, broke the news on all my socials, minute by minute as things were breaking yesterday and the day before that and all that stuff. So it's been very active. All right. I think that we have one last video that we have to play.
Man, motherfucker talk all the shit they want.
Beat your
Man, motherfucker talk all the shit they want. But you see me, I'm sitting up here snacking on this big ass sandwich, not getting a fuck. Kiss my dick, motherfucker.
I don't know why StreamYard's glitching like a motherfucker right now, but it is what it is. We just roll with it. All right, let's go ahead and play this.
Welcome back into Live Now. I'm Austin Westfall. We continue to track the war in the Middle East on this Sunday, a live depiction courtesy of marine traffic showing where some of those vessels stand in the Strait of Hormuz. U.S. CENTCOM at its most recent post, sending this out within the last few hours.
We already know that. Let's go ahead and pass that. All right, now we're going to get into our homie over here who's going to break down some of these strikes, huh?
Here. We know where the Strait of
He actually is very, very good at what he does.
Hormuz is, and we know roughly where, when these spats of kinetic action break out, they tend to happen in the same general areas. Do I have that about right?
Real quick before he answers, make sure you guys, like Naomi says, hit that subscribe button and also hit that like button. If you guys are on the vertical side, double tap that screen. Appreciate you guys. You don't have to love it for all the craziness that's happening around the world, but you guys can like it for me and what we do here on Insane Wheels. So thank you for that.
Thank you for having me, Austin. So that has been the situation as of until a few hours ago. If we zoom in here, this is the Straits of Hormuz, and everyone by now is familiar with this bulge up here in Oman and Iran, and that has been where most of the strikes happened at the beginning of the week, and then the last
What's up, Carney Vanguard?
8 hours were in the Bandar Abbas region, Keshem Island, and the areas of Sirik, all around there, and of course, Iran's attacks against ships have been in this area near Oman. However, it is important to...
That's because that's where they really do see them when their AIS is off, their lights are off, all that shit, and they're taking the shipping lane of the United States / the Oman route and not taking the IRGC's route. That's where they strike the ships because they're taking our route and not theirs.
Say that in the last several hours, there have been increasing reports that the United States is carrying out several bombings going further inward, seemingly, again, as usual, trying to send a message. This is not yet a full return to just continuous bombing every day. The United States is trying to...
By the way, Stephanie, I have that story for us at the very end. We're going to be talking about that at the very end.
Push a little further.
I already have it queued up.
To show, look, we are willing to go further. And the latest report that literally just came in, I don't call me looking at my phone, literally came in a couple of minutes ago, was a report of an attack that happened in a port in Iran that's just north of the Kuwaiti border. So if again I zoom out, this is the border of Iran, this is the Persian or Arab Gulf, this is Kuwait, and this is where the latest strikes have happened. They don't appear yet, but they happen according to reports in these ports over here.
And this is very close to where the IRGC commander was assassinated 2 days ago.
Into the
or 3 days ago. 3 days ago.
Abadan region, which is an important city, and what's important is that's not on the coast. It's going up here. That's a signal that the United States is trying to possibly push a little further and show we're willing to go even further. And I will also say there are unconfirmed reports as of an hour ago that there were attacks in Tehran also. The reports, the way they usually come out is people on the ground say that air defense systems in Tehran have been activated, and then later we get reports in the United States and others of if any attacks happen. So the reports are air defenses in Tehran, which is of course the capital up here, have been activated. Is that in fact a US attack or something?
Hey, appreciate you, Crack Baby, for stopping in and hanging out with us for a bit. Make sure you stay safe out there.
They're activated also against suspected drones. There's lots of Israeli drones. I mean, this is all denied, but there are, of course, lots of Israeli drones in Iran also. So I don't know exactly what's happening in Tehran, but that would be possibly escalating even a step further. Again, that's as of an hour ago. Obviously, if anything comes in the next couple of minutes, I'll update.
What tends to get us back to a point where diplomacy is the main path forward? Right now, it doesn't feel that way. It feels like we're in the
StreamYard can suck sometimes,
same position we've been in multiple times throughout the course of this MOU, which is limbo. And we say fragile ceasefire ad nauseum, and times like this sure do make it feel fragile. But what are typically the situations that get us back to a place where both sides go back to the negotiating table and are not firing at each other?
So there's two things that's important to remember. First of all, this is not uncommon with the way the different Trump deals have been negotiated in the Middle East, not just the Middle East, also other places. One of the things that Trump has brought into the world of resolving conflict and diplomacy, for better or worse, some people are heavily in support of this, some people are heavily critical of this, for better or worse, a fact. One of the things that Trump has brought in is he has often tried, again, it's Israel, Hamas, it's Israel, Hezbollah, United States, Iran, India, Pakistan, Armenia, Azerbaijan. It's always his approach is always don't try to work it out. Do not try to actually work out all of the issues. Instead, get a ceasefire. Get a ceasefire going. Everyone freeze and work it out later, right? That's the 20-point plan in Gaza. Hamas will disarm. How will that happen? Later. We'll figure it out. Israel will withdraw. How will that happen? Later. The memorandum of understanding.
And that's a very good observation that he brings. Stop what you're doing, ceasefire, and we'll work it out later kind of thing. So that's where he's done a good job of being able to reach some sort of ceasefire agreements. Whether they've held or not is kind of irrelevant. It's at least being able to get the shooting to stop. So that's why we're going to see a kind of a bit of a cycle here with the bombings with Iran. Maybe another MOU happens. They get comfortable, then they start disregarding the MOU, doing what they want. Then they'll strike shit because we've got a way that we're going to do shit, and then we're going to retaliate, and then it's a cycle. And that's the problem, is we got to get out of this circle cycle that we just keep repeating.
A lot of ambiguity, and that's where we've come down to. We've come down to a situation where each side is simply reading what the memorandum means differently and saying it differently. And there's no clearer evidence of this than in the tweet that was put out by Iran's foreign minister, Abbas Araghchi. Abbas Araghchi put out a tweet in which he simply quoted Article 5 of the Memorandum of Understanding that said that Iran will facilitate the safe passage of ships through the Straits of Hormuz. And Iran is saying, as far as we're concerned, that's what we're doing. We've told ships to travel only in a certain route. We told ships that they're only allowed to travel here. That's what's safe. They traveled here. We're firing at them to get them to stop. Obviously, Iran is giving its own interpretation of the memorandum, but that's Iran's interpretation. The United States is saying, no, you're supposed to allow safe passage, obviously firing at ships.
Hell yeah. It feels like I should be drinking a beer right now.
This is not safe passage. So that's what we come down to when it comes to the different understandings of the memorandum itself. Now, the question is, how do we get back to diplomacy? It's really a question of if we are going to have the sides say, once again, just stop firing, and let's now sit down and talk and figure it out, or if they will try to actually figure out who is in control of the Straits and how does that work. They were trying to do that on Saturday. On Saturday, right before this spiraled, there was a critical meeting in Oman between Iran, Qatar, and Oman over how to control the Straits and how to make sure the traffic goes smoothly.
Yep, and this has been a nonstop issue right here.
Oman proposed some sort of power sharing agreement.
Since the beginning of the MOU.
And then we had the spiral. So theoretically, we could have a situation where the sides would just say, okay, reset, let's pretend this week didn't happen, let's go back to the way things were. That's only going to kick the can down the road, and we're going to get back to the same situation until they actually sit down and figure out, so is Iran allowed to control where ships are supposed to pass or not? The memorandum is vague about that. It was a way to get the sides to just come to an agreement. But the question is, do we go back to that vagueness? We'll be back to the same place in 2 weeks, or do we try to work it out? One is obviously quicker, the other will take longer.
So I was talking with Hal earlier this week about some reporting that was coming out to indicate that there is not the best unity and perhaps even not the best communication channels with the top Iranian brass. And there's reports out there to suggest, because a lot of people have the question of why is Iran firing missiles at ships? And then these are the things that eventually spiral into the situation that we're talking about right now, where there's
Of course. I mean, it's escalation.
Activity from both sides. What do we know about the chain of communication with the top leaders in Iran alone? Is there a fracture in the communication channels? And is it possible that the people that are firing in the Strait are somehow disconnected from the people that are negotiating with the Americans?
So in order to try to explain the balance of power within the different leaders in Iran, I prepared this little thing behind me to try to look at the different figures. But before that, I even want to just talk for a moment about the different structures of operation.
Yes. And so very interesting that he's doing this right now. So as you guys can see here, Mohammed, I can't say his last name, but nonetheless, he's the Speaker of Parliament. He actually has a bigger voice than the fucking president of Iran does. So Speaker of Parliament is basically the HNIC right now, right? Now there is the Ayatollah, but no one's seen him yet. So we're waiting for his appearance.
In Iran, we have
so without the Ayatollah, we would be looking at the Speaker of Parliament being like basically the number one, or the commander of the IRGC, but it would be the Speaker of Parliament being kind of the top
The
dog.
supreme leader. That is currently Mujtaba Khamenei. It was his father, Ali Khamenei.
Right, but he's not active right now.
He controls everything. But then there's also a political establishment. There is a president who has certain authority. And then there's the different armed forces. There's the military and the Revolutionary Guards. The Revolutionary Guards answer directly to the supreme leader. The military answers to the supreme leader and to the president. Now, one of the things that have happened is, first of all, Mujtaba Khamenei has not been seen ever since his father's assassination. His father was assassinated on February 28th. Since then, he is reportedly alive. I will say neither intelligence agencies of Israel or the United States have suggested that he's dead. So they're not saying he's dead. So at least the intelligence of the countries that have the most espionage in Iran think that he's alive, seemingly. But he is giving messages through notes, through...
Right, and that's the only thing that we have heard from the Ayatollah, is apparently he did write a handwritten note that he handed off to one of his officials that went to the media with it, or Iranian state TV. But aside from that, no one knows where he is. He didn't show up to his father's funeral. The brothers all did as well. Other family members did, but he didn't. So, yeah, I mean, that could be for protection, and that's what the IRGC is claiming, is that he didn't go because of his own protection. But where's the proof? Where's the proof of life?
Couriers, he's very, very careful of not being assassinated. So first of all, there is a problem getting messages to him. But beyond that, what we've had is really the development of two different factions. One is the more hawkish figures. The more hawkish figures, chief among them is this guy over here, Ahmed Wahidi, can be spelled with a W or a V. Ahmed Wahidi, he is the commander of the Iranian Revolutionary Guards. For all intents and purposes, he is right now the strongest person when it comes to loyalty of troops in Iran. That is the person who is the hardliner, who is in charge of basically the troops that are the most loyal to the regime and the ones that were really against any accommodation. The Revolutionary Guards are all for, will fight to the death. Mujtaba Khamenei is more, it says here, senior advisor to the supreme leader. That's a mistake. This is an old image. He's currently the supreme leader. Mujtaba Khamenei is the one who is more associated with the hawks. The supreme leader is more associated with the hawkish side.
Yes, of course, because the supreme leader is essentially the religious leader, which is dealing with outside forces as well as security for Iran. Now, the president of Iran, he basically is like what a vice president is in a motorcycle club, where he is only in charge of the people, the body itself within the state, right? So anything to do with defense, anything to do with war or any of that, the president has zero say in any of that shit, basically.
The other side is the one that is trying to get to accommodation. I'm not going to call them dovish. They are far from dovish. The president of Iran is not a dovish figure, but he does want an accommodation. Back when Iran was negotiating with the United States in January, Masoud Pezeshkian, the president of Iran, was saying...
Before he gets into that real quick, Steve is letting us know, which is true, we are in overtime. We're officially past an hour. So make sure you guys hit that like button. What? Wrong button. Make sure you guys hit that like button, and also remember to send in your money, because you know what they say about overtime. No tax on tips, no tax on fucking overtime. Send in your money, you know? Feels good to be a G. Make sure you guys get the likes up. Appreciate it.
Let's reach a deal. We have to take care of the economy. We have to take care of other things. We don't need this fight with the United States right now. So he is the one that's aspiring for accommodation, and there are rumors that he even threatened to resign, which would cause a major political uproar.
Appreciate that, Jay, by the way. And what are you drinking on this morning?
If Iran did not reach the memorandum of understanding. So there are rumors that he put a lot of pressure on Khamenei to try to get to the memorandum of understanding. And on his side of the ones that want accommodation are Abbas Araghchi, the foreign minister.
Now, with all of this that he's pointing out right now, there's a lot of infighting within the regime right now, regards to going forward. So anyways, his breakdown was actually phenomenal, and I'm really glad that he did that. But we don't have enough time to go ahead and listen to the rest of this. But at least we were able to hit a lot of main points there. Okay, we have a few things that we got to get through here. Jurassic Park actor Sam Neill dies at age 78, just as of 3 hours ago. That's terrible news. Let's figure out what's going on here before we get into ICE and also other details regarding the Houston ICE shooting, and then the one up there in Maine. We have two different ICE regards, to storylines. We'll get to that here in a moment.
We are continuing to
This is a quick update too.
follow some more breaking news from overnight. Take a look at this, a social media post courtesy of the Associated Press. Breaking: New Zealand actor Sam Neill, known for Jurassic Park and The Piano, died Monday at 78, his family said. His death in Sydney was, quote, sudden and unexpected, according to a statement posted to the actor's social media page. I want to bring up here some footage of the late actor, who again was famous for Jurassic Park, several other films. Neill was one of a host of actors and directors who achieved international fame after an explosion of Australian films that began in the late 1970s. Continuing with more here, courtesy of the Associated Press, saying that perhaps Neill achieved his highest level of fame in Jurassic Park, playing paleontologist Alan Grant, who is summoned to an island off Costa Rica where a theme park has been built to house herds of cloned dinosaurs. He co-starred alongside Laura Dern, Jeff Goldblum, and Richard Attenborough. His character, thoughtful and reasonable, a scientist who warned the mastermind of the theme park before the chaos that, quote, dinosaurs and man, two species separated by 65 million years of evolution, have just suddenly been thrown back into the mix together. How can we possibly have the slightest idea what to expect? I did love Jurassic Park. Such a great film. Now, Grant survived the harrowing events when the creatures get loose, but he did not return.
Did they say the actual reason for death yet?
For Jurassic Park 2. He did come back for the third in Jurassic Park.
It says died at the age of 78 on Monday after recovering from cancer, his family announced. Wow.
World Dominion in
Damn,
2022. He was born in 1947 in Northern Ireland. Neill emigrated to New Zealand at the age of 7. He was born Nigel Neill, but told interviewers he started to go by Sam because there were too many Nigels at his school. His family settled in Dunedin in the South Island, where he was sent to boarding school. After college, he took the lead.
What's up, Motobomb, Virginia? Yes, you are coming in a bit late, but it's all good. Great to see you in the chat. Hopefully you're enjoying your morning.
In Sleeping Dogs in 1977, the first feature film made in New Zealand in more than a decade. Neill's other film roles included playing a Soviet submarine officer who memorably dreams of home in Montana in The Hunt for Red October, and also an investigator in director John Carpenter's In the Mouth of Madness. Now, the actor became known in New Zealand as a modest,
let's get the likes up, everybody,
unassuming person who didn't embrace celebrity. And on social media, he often posted images of his farm animals, many of them affectionately named after celebrities and friends like Laura Dern, the chicken, Kylie Minogue, the duck, and Helena Bonham Carter, the cow. New Zealand Prime Minister mourned Neill as, quote, one of the greats in a statement posted to social media. Now, he wrote this, quote, he started out when there was barely a film industry to speak of. For more than 50 years, he took New Zealand stories to the world, and his talents helped make our film industry into what it is today. Again, that was a part of the post from the New Zealand Prime Minister. And I also
that's terrible news.
Here, a social media post from Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese, who is also reacting to this death, saying this, that Sam Neill starred in so many beloved Australian stories, and he earned a special place in Australian hearts. Wry and dry, thoughtful, and iconic, Sam fought illness with the same dignity, humor, and conviction that gave strength to his every performance. He will be much mourned and long remembered. May he rest in peace.
Wow, that's definitely sad news, man. All right, let's get into these two ICE shootings that we're going to be discussing this morning. What we know about the deadly ICE, the deadly Houston ICE shooting first, coming out only 2 hours ago, and then we'll get into the deadly ICE-involved shooting in Maine. We got two different ones this morning, so let's go ahead and bring this up. We got some activity here. And Houston first, yes. Chronologically, we do everything in a chronological timeline here.
Welcome back into Live Now from Fox, continuing to track more of the day's top stories. Now, this next story does take us out to Houston. Questions there continuing to mount after an immigrant was shot and killed by an ICE agent in Houston's East End just last week. It's a story that's been making national headlines. I want to bring us out to a live image that we...
Right, and we showed a little bit of this last week, the very beginnings of this, and there wasn't many details at the time. That's why we're glad that, there's an update to the story on this, because we did present this briefly. I think it was like a 3-minute, very quick, segment that we covered last week. And this is the update on this. And then, of course, we have the main
over there in
ordeal
Houston, Texas.
too.
Now, over the weekend, supporters gathered for vigils and rallies as new details emerge about the shooting and the investigation. Jade Flaherty with our team at Fox 26 in Houston. She is live this morning, where the shooting...
Oh, Papa D. Shit. Well, hopefully you have a wonderful and awesome start of your week, rest of your day, and be safe out there.
Happen, and the memorial is continuing to grow. Jade, what do we know so far?
Yeah, that's right. The memorial is continuing to grow. And at first, the DHS and the FBI, they were the original agencies that were investigating Lorenzo Soldado Araujo's death. But now, because these questions keep growing and people want a transparent investigation, local agencies like the Harris County District Attorney's Office and the Houston Police Department, they are conducting their own independent investigation. Now, let me show you what that memorial looks like. There's a car right now, but you can see there are just signs lined up, flowers laid out, balloons. Some of those signs reading, independent investigation now, justice for Lorenzo. Now, just the background information on this incident is that last week, Soldado Araujo was shot and killed by an ICE agent during a traffic stop on Canal Street. ICE says that the Mexican national did not comply with their commands and tried to ram an ICE vehicle. However, 3 men inside that vehicle told their attorney that that was not the case. They say that the agents were never in front of the vehicle. Meanwhile, Congresswoman Sylvia Garcia says that she spoke with the acting ICE director who told her that Araujo was not the target of the enforcement operation. She also says that the agents involved were not wearing body cameras at the time and that the unmarked vehicles used in the operation did not have dash cameras. Now, meanwhile, at a vigil over the weekend, community members say that they are standing with Araujo's family and that they want a full account of what happened that day.
The community needs to know that they're not alone, and just to have a moment of mourning and peace. It's important that we are in front of the people that are responsible for the laws that come into effect and affect all of us.
Now, I don't know if he was illegal or not, but as of right now, they're just calling him an immigrant. And I looked into the description here, and it didn't say anything about him being a legal immigrant or just being an immigrant in general.
So we do know that Houston Police Chief Noe Diaz says that he is going to meet with the FBI to get more information about this investigation. He says that he is going to use resources to help out the DHS and FBI conduct this investigation in a timely, transparent, and very thorough matter. In the meantime, reporting from the East End, Jade Fleury, Fox 26 News.
All right, Jade,
thanks so much. So, of course, we're going to follow any details that come out of that situation. I know, Blair, exactly. No cameras? Like, what's going on here? I think they are just lacking the information at the moment. All right, let's get into this whole deadly ICE involved shooting in Maine now. Let's bring this up. Give me 2 seconds here. Boom.
We are continuing to follow breaking news coming in.
Yes, this is just a breaking segment here.
Maine, and you can see a live look here as the crew that's out in that location is zooming in on the scene itself. I can tell you that information is very limited, but Fox 23 over in Maine spoke with the House Speaker there for the state of Maine, who essentially...
And by the way, we have 2 updated, just coming out stories that are important. So right after this, we still have 2 more crazy stories that just came out.
This is a deadly ICE-involved shooting. And again, you can see a lot of law enforcement, and the yellow crime scene tape is up at this point. Popping this up on your screen, this is actually coming in from Reuters, as it says, person killed in ICE-involved shooting in Maine, media reports. Again, this is over in Biddeford. Now, we are getting a lot of reaction coming in from different lawmakers at this point. You can see Representative Jayapal saying, quote, I am aware of a fatal ICE-involved shooting this morning in Maine, and I'm working to get more information as we await more details. My heart is with the community. Fox 23 Maine speaking with the House Speaker, as I mentioned, who said this all happened this morning near a location called Pool Street. So if you're familiar with Biddeford, this is over near Pool Street.
All right, and that's where they ended that part. So quickly, let me go ahead and get into now. We have 2 different things. We have one update regards to Capitol Hill police arrest a man with a firearm just 4 minutes ago. 4 minutes ago. But before we get into that, 56 minutes ago, U.S. will become the guardian, quote unquote, of the Strait of Hormuz, Trump says. So let's go ahead and see what Trump is saying this morning, just a little bit ago, 57 minutes ago.
Take you out to some of the other big stories and developing stories that we're covering. This is actually just coming in from U.S. Central Command, that is CENTCOM in Farsi. So it's translated here. It says CENTCOM completes another wave of strikes against Iran. And the information coming in from CENTCOM in Tampa, Florida. U.S. Central Command CENTCOM completed a new wave of offensive strikes against Iran. Now, it says July 21st, but I have to imagine they meant July 12th, striking dozens of targets across multiple locations with precision munitions.
Be safe out there, Naomi. Appreciate you.
To degrade Iran's ability to continue attacking international ships that are transiting the Strait of Hormuz. And of course, we continue to follow this and have this look right here at the Strait of Hormuz coming coming in from marine traffic. We always get emails from folks asking, what are all of these different objects there, the colors that are on the screen? They essentially show different oil tankers and other vessels. Now, what's important to note is that you see arrows on the left-hand side of your screen, also on the right. But as you get closer to the Strait of Hormuz, there's a lot of circles. That is because essentially those ships are just sitting and waiting after Iran says that it...
Okay. The difference between when you see AIS when they're triangles compared to when they're circles. Okay. The difference between the two is that, just like Josh was saying, if they're circles, essentially they're not moving. That means they're anchored or tied up at a dock somewhere. Well, obviously they're anchored up. There's a lot of these are anchored spots. Because they're just waiting. Now, the ones that show that they're moving, some of them may be moving, but AIS a lot of times will pick you up like as if you are actually moving while you're anchored. So a lot of these are actually not moving. These guys, they probably are moving up and down up here. This is probably, just normal operations for Iran and shit. But all this is why you would normally see a double lane going through this. That's when you would see it open.
Has closed the Strait of Hormuz there.
Yes.
The ones that have arrows are indicating that the vessels are moving in that direction where it's pointing. Now, we also have this statement that is just coming in from...
And also the difference between the red and the green. Red, anything red arrow or red circle is a tanker. That's carrying any type of petroleum product. And then, of course, you have green, which is your normal cargo vessels or even just your other whatever vessels. So
are moving in that direction where it's pointing. Now, we also have this statement that is just coming in from President Trump on his Truth Social. Take a look as he says the strait is open. He wrote, quote,
the strait is not open.
The strait is open and will remain open with or without Iran. We are reinstating the Iranian blockade, so named because it is only stopping Iran ships or customers from entering or leaving. All other countries will have fair and open use of the strait. The USA will be, from this point forward, known as the guardian of the Hormuz Strait, but as such, and as a matter of fairness, will be reimbursed at the rate of 20% on all cargo shipped for any and all costs necessary to do the job of providing safety and security to this very volatile section of the world. The process and formation will begin immediately. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump.
All right, so that was Trump reacting right there. Okay, now let's go ahead and get into this latest update just coming out now 8 minutes ago. Capitol Hill police arrest a man with a firearm. I'm sure you guys are going to hear about this in the mainstream media later on today.
I do want to take you out to even...
Because it does sound like a newsworthy story that, of course, all these different types of organizations are trying to get clicks and shit. Luckily, we don't do that here. We just are breaking news, and that's what we do here. So
breaking news that we are following coming in from Chad Pergram, and this is all related to that security incident that appears to be taking place over on the Capitol grounds, or at least nearby. Now, Chad Pergram, our friend over at Fox News, saying that U.S. Capitol Police say they have arrested a man at the north barricade of the U.S. Capitol building who had a firearm. Firearms, of course, prohibited on Capitol grounds. The north barricade will be closed while the U.S. police there investigate. Staff and other personnel are directed to avoid the area until further notice. So again, we saw as essentially a vehicle was surrounded by the police in that location as they responded to a potential security concern at the north barricade of the U.S. Capitol building. Staff and other personnel directed to avoid the area, and that is still the case. But we don't have any information about the man other than the fact that Capitol Police say he had a gun, which is prohibited there on the U.S. Capitol grounds. There's a photo right there as there was the security incident with a Ford Bronco being surrounded. There was a dog in the vehicle. Hopefully that dog is being taken to safety. But again, this is all under investigation here and all developing. So we'll continue to bring you updates as we get them.
What's up, Mina? I see you in the chat, by the way, coming in right as we're ending up the show. So listen, ladies and gentlemen, that catches up to current time. I can't thank each and every single one of you guys enough for allowing me to do this Monday through Friday. And then, of course, members only on Saturday morning, man. So thank you guys for becoming members, staying members. Your donations go a long freaking way, man. I'm honored that you guys find value in what we do. And if you do, make sure you guys hit that like button. Also hit that subscribe button. That's what you guys can do for free to support the channel. So very much appreciate it. Listen, We'll be back tomorrow morning for more of the world's madness as we continue down our truth-seeking adventure, of course. Anyways, God bless you guys. Much love, honor, respect. We'll see you guys very soon.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges.